I am not good at math, so are very many lawyers. But I'm sure that 99% of Ugandans and you people watching and listening have either used a car or a movable property to borrow money. But did you know that there is a law regulating or that you're supposed to follow when you're using your car as security? And the lenders, did you know that there's a procedure you're supposed to follow in the law when you're taking the car as security for a loan? Today, we are privileged to have the Uganda Registration Services Bureau in the house. As usual, I am Alexandra Kafero, an advocate and the host of the Law Podcast. With me today is the Senior Registrar from the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, the department responsible for what we are going to talk about today, Miss Yvonne Atwine Mwesige, a lawyer by profession. Welcome to the show, Yvonne.
Thank you, Mr. Kafero.
Now, I want us to, first of all, start by letting our people know what is the Uganda Registration Services Bureau and what is the mandate.
The Uganda Registration Services Bureau is a government entity with a mandate of registration of companies, businesses in general. It also does registration of intellectual property rights. It does
Intellectual property rights to mean
copyrights, trademarks, patents, geographical indications.
So the songs fall in there.
Copyright, yes.
Okay.
It also does registration of marriages. Also, it resuscitates companies that are failing, and also helps in the winding up of companies where people have failed maybe to keep up with the economy and the business has failed. So we help you shut down the company in a legal manner.
Now, specifically, you're from a department which I know, but the viewers and listeners don't know.
Yes.
Now, what is that department you're coming from? Because your department is going to inform, to tell us, you're also going to tell us what do you do, and then we can have a discussion on that.
My department is the Department of Business Registration. Under the Business Registration Department is a unit called the Charter Securities Registration Unit.
Yes.
So
simplified for us, Charters.
So the Charter Securities, as business, the registration of businesses under the Companies Act. Then the Charter Securities Registration Unit is now regulating movable property, the security interest,
like cars,
in Movable Property Act. So the movable property, yes, like cars, farm produce, household furniture, even the intangibles like intellectual property rights is also movable property. Checks are movable property, bills of lading are movable property. All those items that are not fixed, like land or buildings. But if we go into fixed, maybe fixtures can also fall under movable property because they don't form part of the land.
Now, Charter Securities, what are we talking about there?
Now, in Charter Securities, and under the 2019 law, because before 2019 we had a law, the Charter Securities Act of 2014, which was provided for manual registration. So what clients would do is draw a document, a charter mortgage, and now come and register it with URSB. But now with the 2019 law, the Security Interest in Movable Property Act, let's call it SIMPA. We now
I don't know why I always call it simple.
Simple is the registry.
Simple is the registry.
Yes, then
SIMPA
is the act.
Okay.
Yes. So in what we do in Simple the registry is that we provide a platform for lenders to notify the public.
That is now the gist of our discussion.
Yes.
Repeat for me there.
That we provide, URSB provides a platform for lenders to notify the public about interests they obtain over the movable property. So maybe I can break it down by giving
Yes,
you like an
please.
example. So I walk into Platinum Credit and I need money for school fees. You know, the Christmas season, I spent all my monies, but I have my children and I need to take to school. So I need maybe 5 million. I walk into Platinum Credit, I need a loan. So Platinum Credit will need me to provide security for that loan or collateral for the loan, so that in case I default, they have a fallback position. So they will ask me what I have. And because today we're talking about mostly cars,
Yes.
I'll say I have my my car that I can give you so that it can act as security for the loan for the time I'm going to have the loan. So me and Platinum Credit, some of the borrower and the grantor, that is the person, the collateral owner. So I will withdraw a security agreement, Platinum Credit and I, and then I will pledge my car to Platinum Credit for the
Loan.
for the duration of the loan. So what Platinum Credit, the interest that Platinum Credit has in my car is a security interest. The right that Platinum Credit has is a security interest, not a right of ownership,
Yes.
but what we call a security interest. So what Platinum Credit will do after we have entered that arrangement, and it now before it can close this transaction, it will now check if the car belongs to me. It will go to the motor vehicle registry and check if the car belongs to me. If there are other interests in the car, like caveats or not, they will do a search. So after they've done a search and they see everything is clear, then now they will come to Simple, the registry,
yes.
to URSB. You go to simple.ursb.go.ug, and then they will enter the security agreement we entered. We talked about our duration. We talked about how much money I'm taking, the terms and conditions of the loan. So they will enter those details. So on the register, there are particular details you have to enter. When did you take this loan? When is it expiring? How much money is it? What is the interest? Is it a running loan?
So
is
all
it,
details concerning
Yes.
that arrangement must
Yes,
be
who
entered.
is Yvonne? What is her national ID number? Where does she come from? What is her email address? This car. Then you talk about the car. So all the details pertaining the transaction, you enter them on the register. Then what Simple does, it quickly, when you enter, when it's a motor vehicle, and you enter a motor vehicle, the details we are integrated. We have effective 1st December 2023. Simple, URSB Simple, integrated systems integrated with the motor vehicle registry. So once you enter anything and it says the collateral is a motor vehicle, and you enter like a number, you're not even allowed to enter details like chassis or what, as long as you enter number plate. Quickly the system checks for you to the motor vehicle registry and now pulls information about that motor vehicle, yes. Because the borrower will also provide a TIN. Every car owner has a TIN. So the system will prompt you to provide a TIN. So details will be pulled of that motor vehicle.
So this registration should be done by every lender?
Yes.
Or you have specific lenders, maybe financial institutions, or is it every lender who takes my car or my furniture as security has to go through that registration, that process?
Yes. Maybe if I can back up a little bit, under the SIMPA, we have different ways of perfection. Perfection, to break it down, is like notification to the public.
Okay.
If as a lender you're taking a certain item, how do you want? We notify the public. The lender should notify the public because this is how it will boost or it will help the lender. It is an advantage to the lender mostly, because I usually say as simple is to movable property, the lands registry is to land.
Okay.
So before any bank takes land or building, they first check if there's an interest on that land. So even for lenders, all lenders, before they take any item that is concerning movable property, that should
be the place to go.
Yes, Simple should be the place to check first. So if other lenders are entering their interests on Simple, that means that you as any other lender, before you get interested in Mr. Kafero's car, you should ask yourself,
are there other lenders having a security interest in this car?
And previously, movable property has been something that people do not, lenders shun down. They shun it because of the risk associated with it. So as a lender, you're looking at you like, no, I'm going to give you a higher interest rate because the risk associated with your property is too much. I don't know whether you have pledged it elsewhere. I don't know what the problems associated with this property. So what Simple does is to bring down that risk for the lenders. So what lenders are supposed to do is actually come to Simple, establish if there's any interest.
You said
on
simple dot?
ursb.go.ug. But before I came to that point, I was trying to make a point that perfection or notification to the public is not the only registration is not the only form of perfection. There's something called possession. Say if you have given me your car, I park it at my premises. I don't have to register that. But the disadvantage with
we actually do that a lot.
Yes, but the disadvantage with it is that the law mandates you who has taken that car to make sure you service it. Make sure that the same condition I have brought my car is the same condition I'll be taking it.
Okay.
So it is not a viable form. It is expensive. And imagine if you, for example, it's maybe a taxi and someone needs to use the taxi to be able to pay you back. You need them to run the business. So you cannot park the car. It's not a viable form of perfection. And also if you have many borrowers who are that kind, are you going to park 1,000 cars? Where are you going to park them? Are you going to have a collateral manager? It's very expensive to do that. So registration, again, is the best form of perfection. Yes.
That is why this discussion is very important.
Yes.
Now, you have talked about the kinds of properties that we can use, the perfection. Now, what more does the borrower get from Simple? Is there something that the borrower gets from registration, or it is really for the lenders?
Now, for the Simple actually provides many advantages for the borrower, because the practice in Uganda usually has been that when you bring, say, whatever item, your car or your household furniture or your mobile phone or your laptop, they enter a sale agreement. The borrower and the lender enter a sale agreement.
Yes.
Now, the Simple forbids it. It is illegal to enter a sale transaction in a lender-borrower transaction. At the start, we actually said that the only right that the lender has in the borrower's property is a security interest. Only the right of borrowing. I have given you my property. Yes, you have given me money. So the only right you have is called a security interest. It is not a right of ownership.
Okay.
Yes. So it specifically forbids it. So any transaction that is entered as a sale transaction, when in fact it is a lender-borrower transaction, it is null and void.
Good. Yes. That's beautiful.
So that is an advantage to the borrower, that you will not be taken advantage of.
I think it's the most important one.
Yes, that you will not be taken advantage of. But also what is most important for the borrower is that what the platform Simple it came from the National Development Plan of the second National Development Plan of 2014. I think that was the one for 2014. Yes, where with the government wants to provide affordable credit to everyone, to the youth, the women, the medium small enterprises that do not have land. Company has just said it doesn't have land, but it has small assets. Women usually are known not to have land, though today it is changing, but we have always known them not to have land. The land rights are very clear about that one. So for the women, the youth who are just starting up, they do not have land. So the National Development Plan, what it wanted to do was make sure that these people can actually access credit. How can they be able to access credit? So if we sanitize the environment, the legal environment, and make sure that we have put some things in place, some interventions that are going to make the small properties that they have be viable for credit, then you have done something for them. So for the borrowers, really simple is to facilitate access to affordable credit. So if we have put a registry like that, where lenders have more confidence in lending over those assets,
they can.
that means that the risk associated with them has gone down. That means that the interest rates may go down. And because Simple is an electronic register, it is 24 hours. You don't have to walk from your office to come to URSB to seek a service. It becomes cheaper.
Just need an internet connection.
You just need an internet connection, and you go to the web, simple.ursb.go.ug, and you can be able to notify the public about any interest that you have obtained. That makes it cheaper.
Yvonne, tell me about last year, you issued a notice calling upon registration of motor vehicle caveats. Tell me about that, the registration, like the registration of motor vehicle caveats.
So in 2020, after the 2019, after doing the act and establishing the electronic register, which is Simple, we noticed that motor vehicles were still, though they were being used as security, and it has been known that they are used as security, they were being caveated through Ministry of Works. However, they are under Simple because they are movable property. They fall under movable property. So they are supposed to be collateralized, or maybe you can simplify it, they're supposed to be, the process of getting an interest over the motor vehicle is supposed to be done through Simple. And that is one, that is caveats. If we allowed caveats to go on alone, and then we have Simple, that is double registration. So the client has to come to Simple. We have said you don't need to leave your office, register your security interest in your office, and then now you remember the caveats, help the lender for the borrower not to sell the car. So we don't want the transfer of ownership to happen. So we want to make sure that the lender is protected, covered, and also the borrower is disciplined. So we have to make sure all ends, all the loose ends are fixed. So what we did was we negotiated an amendment for the Traffic and Road Safety Amendment Act, where now all interests, as long as it's a security interest on a motor vehicle, a trailer, or an engineering plant, all of them shall be subject to the Security Interest in Movable Property Act, the SIMPA.
So it should come to URSB.
Yes, and then the URSB now is the one that
does that.
The notification. So we submit to the Chief Licensing Officer on behalf of the lender. So what the lender does is that they come through Simple, URSB Simple. Then for us, we submit to the Chief Licensing Officer. So the client does not have now to walk to the Motor Vehicle Registry seeking a service. The service is through the security interest, meaning that all lenders now have to go through Simple to be able to caveat any motor vehicle, a trailer, or engineering plan. only lenders that are licensed according to the SIMPA should be the ones to access the registry. And what I mean by this is that under the Act is that it restricts the use of the registry to banks, tier 1 to tier 3, money lenders, and tier 4 institutions that have money lending licenses, or you have a Bank of Uganda license to lend money. But however, I can, for example, lend you, Mr. Kafero, but I cannot, as an individual, but I cannot do it often to be seen to be in the business of money lending, because the Act says that everyone who's in the business must have a license. And the SIMPA refers us to the tier 4 money lenders and
to the friendly loans.
Microfinance.
The friendly lenders are not covered.
You may use the registry, but you should not be seen to be in the business of money lending. So if I lend you today, lend you tomorrow, or lend another friend the next day, you're seen to be in the business. So it's an interpretation of, are you in the business of money lending?
Are there fees involved in this registration?
Yes. For the motor vehicle caveats, a motor vehicle caveat already has fees, which is 50,000 for registration of a caveat. Then for the security interest, we call it a notice. An initial notice is 18,000.
18.
Yes. And in 2022, the stamp duty relating to movable property was removed. So there is no stamp duty for registration of the security interest in movable property, except the 15,000, which they call fixed stamp duty. So the ad valorem, that is the 1.5% of the loan amount, was removed in 2022. So it's 18,000 registration of the interest, then 50,000 for the registration of the caveat, then 15,000 the stamp duty on the agreement.
That's not a lot of money.
No, it's
That's
not.
not a lot of money.
I hope it's not.
It's not a lot.
Maybe what I wanted to add was that for lenders to access the registry, they have to open
An account.
An account.
Okay.
Opening an account is free. So on opening an account is you're letting us, we are getting to know you. So we establish who you are, if you have a license, because we even have international lenders on the platform.
Okay.
So we establish who you are, where you're from, who we can contact. Then you have an administrator. You know, lenders usually have credit officers, so they can give rights to these credit officers, so that as and when a loan transaction is entered, the credit officers can then enter the transaction. So that the account is, you open it once, then as and when you transact, you can be able to post your transaction on the platform. Usually we take the lenders through trainings. So you simply request for a training at you send an email to simple@ursb.go.ug, and we take you through how you're going to manage your transactions. Because from registration, we also have post-registration services, which can be amendment, which can be discharge, which can be default and enforcement. So you know the cycle of a loan. I borrow and pay back immediately, or I may borrow and come back and need more money, an extension or an amendment. So during the cycle of a loan, now you can come and do an amendment on the transaction in case someone needs more money. Or if someone has defaulted, now you can come and file a default and enforcement notice to really show the whole world that you're not credit worthy. So and so is not credit worthy. Then when you have discharged, the law mandates the lender within 5 days of the person fulfilling the obligations, you must remove that. You know, usually what lenders do is that they give you the money and then they never come to release you of your obligations. But under SIMPA, within 5 days, the lender must release the borrower of the obligations under the loan.
Thank you, everyone. This has been a very wonderful discussion. Thank you for coming. I am very sure it has simplified, highlighted very important things, because like I said, so many people borrow money and they use their motor vehicle, they use their furniture. So please, when we invite you for the second time, feel free to come.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Our viewers and listeners, that's all we had for the podcast today. Subscribe, comment. You can, in the comment section, suggest what you want us to discuss in the subsequent podcasts. We'll be glad to respond and take up those suggestions. Thank you. Keep watching and keep listening.